The EVH 5153 50-watt Stealth is a really popular amplifier. In fact, a lot of people have told me that this is their absolute favorite amplifier. However, a lot of people are also wrong about this amplifier. Let's get into it, let's explore this amplifier, and let's start right away with a demo track. Take a listen. I hope you enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun to make. So that was four guitars into the amplifier. We started off with my Infinia guitars Ceres through the red channel for a nice modern metal tone. No pedals up front. Then for the clean tone, I used my ESP LTD RZK Richard Sven Kruspe signature model on the neck pickup, the Fishman Fluence RZK neck pickup on the active voicing. I did add a little bit of reverb in post there. For that section, I used the green channel, so the clean channel. For the third section, I used the blue channel with my Balaguer Espada 2024. Really nice crunch tone there. Love the blue channel. It has a very nice sag going on. And then for the final section, I went back to the red channel with my Ibanez M8M Meshuggah 8-string. And man, this amp sounds so good. I've been having a lot of fun with this amplifier. I've already used it in one video, and that was my review for the Kiesel Crescent 8, my 8-string. So if you want to hear me play an 8-string through this amplifier other than in this demo track, check out that video. Now for the entirety of this video, the amp is running into my Grossmann Fatbox 1x12 cab, in which I've loaded up my Celestion Vintage 30, mic'd up with 3 mics, 2 SM57s and 1 MD421 Kompakt, sent into the DAW, and that's what you're hearing. So a blend of those 3 mics on the speaker, and that's it. Right now I'm running through my big pedal board, which I'm using for zoot out the gate. I might try a boost or something like that later on as well. Right now I'm holding my Kiesel Aries Custom with the Joker colors. Love this guitar. And we're gonna have some fun with this amplifier, okay? Now the EVH amps are cool. I used to own the EL34 50 watt for many years, which I recently sold because I just, had it for so long. I wanted to try something new. Hence the 6L6 50 watt Stealth, this black monster over here. Because a lot of people, again, have told me that this was their favorite amplifier, that it's so awesome. And, all the EVH stuff is cool. I recently also reviewed the Ivory 100 watt. I don't know if you can see it. It's back here. That was a lot of fun. If you want to see my review of that amplifier, check it out up here if you're interested. But now we are checking out the 50 watt Stealth. It's dialed in, it's tight, and it was dialed in specifically to Eddie's personal specifications. And according to Howard Kaplan, I think in an interview he did mention that this was his favorite iteration of the 5153 just because of how dialed in it is. And I can say, yeah, it's definitely an awesome amplifier, and I've been enjoying it a lot. Some people are very wrong about this amplifier, which we will get into, okay? Now, quick run through of the amplifier. We have 3 channels, green, blue, and red, just as on the 100 watt versions. However, green and blue, or clean and crunch, have a shared EQ over here, but we have the dual concentric knobs, which means that green and blue have their own gain and volume controls. It can be a little bit finicky, but once you've got it set up, it's very handy that you can dial in the level and the gain amount for these channels individually. The red channel has its own section with its own gain, volume, and 3-band EQ. We have a single presence control, a single resonance control on the back, which is set to around 3 o'clock right now. Of course, we have an FX loop, a foot switch, which I have not hooked up right now. And you can also bias this amplifier because it has bias ports. That's a cool little extra that this amplifier has. Is it very different than the Ivory 50 watt? I don't know. I've seen some comparisons where it sounded very close, practically identical. It is different to the EL34 though, for sure. The blue channel is different. And I think that the red channel has much less gain on tap. Still has more than enough. But the EL34 had such a big amount of gain with the gain control set at around 10 o'clock or so. However, with this amplifier, the taper of the gain pot is much more usable across the entire range for me. So I have a tone dialed in on the red channel right now. Let's just see how it sounds, okay? Sounds very focused, tight, and defined with a fat bottom end. So tight, but also huge, which is what is so great about these amplifiers. It's hard to untighten them because they are already so tight, if you know what I mean. But it's a very good balance. It sounds great with 6-string guitars, but you can also plug an 8-string or a baritone straight into this amp without needing a boost, really. So that's what a lot of people love about these amplifiers. Now, in terms of the gain, right now, I'm on 1 o'clock-ish, and this is the amount of gain that we get with this particular guitar. It varies quite a bit from guitar to guitar, if you know what I mean. But this is a good amount of gain for my taste for a heavy rhythm with this guitar. It has the Kiesel thorium pickup in the bridge. So that's funny to me because a lot of people mention, on the internet or whatever, that the Stealth is overgained, it's overcompressed, it's oversaturated. But in my experience, that's not really the case. It's much more balanced and nuanced. So let's play around a little bit with the gain control on this channel just so you get an idea of how much gain there is on tap. So again, we're starting at 1 o'clock. Let me lower it. That's around 10 o'clock. That's a good chunky crunch, but it's not as saturated as I would want for a heavy tone. Let's lower it even further, okay? That's a nice crunchy tone right there. Very tight and dry. Let's lower it even further. Try the neck pickup. That's a cool tone, but if you ask me, this channel was made for high gain and for chugging and stuff. So let's raise it and let's see where it starts to saturate to a point where I can use it for heavy rhythms. So at around 11 o'clock, it starts to become really saturated and full and thick with plenty of sustain on the low end chugs. For a lot of people, that would be enough. I like to go a little bit further than that. This is noon. That is nice, but I, again, like to go to around 1 o'clock with this guitar. That is very thick. So the more you turn up the gain, the thicker it's going to be and less defined, obviously. So let's go a little further, even though, you know, further than this for rhythm guitar is too much in my opinion. Now that is a lot of gain. That's too much. But for lead guitar, that might be just what you need. So a lot of sustain, a lot of saturation. So yeah, it can do some nice leads too, obviously. Let's play around with the EQ real quick, starting with the low control. So there's a lot of low end thump on tap there, which is nice. So you can balance out the low control with the resonance nicely. The mid control. So it's a very mid-focused amplifier. That's why I like to scoop this channel a little bit. So I usually have this set at around 11 o'clock or so, just to balance it out for heavy rhythm tones. Of course, by raising it, it's going to sound more MIDI. Great for leads and stuff, but let's go back to around 11 o'clock. Let's put the high control to noon. Right now it's set to 2 o'clock. Let's go to noon. So the high control is going to give you that clarity and definition, right? One thing about the 50 watt EVHs that is different is the taper of the presence control. So with the big heads, it starts to open up really at around 3 o'clock or so. So very late in the taper, if you will. With the 50 watt heads, it's much brighter on the same setting. So right now I'm at noon, but we can try it out, mess with it. Let's start at noon, go down, and then go up. obviously it was very bright higher up. So it's a very powerful control, right? Now I can see if I can reach for the resonance control. Let me dial that in for you as well, just so you can hear how it affects the tone. Right now we're at 3 o'clock. Let me lower it to noon. So this is around noon. Let me lower it even further, around 9 o'clock. Tight, a little bit too thin. And let's go back to just under 3 o'clock, which is my favorite setting. Now, for some people, this amp is not tight enough. Jared. And they like to add boosts to an already super saturated and tight tone. So just for fun, let's try it out. I'm going to add my Maxon OD808 with balance, so level set to around 1 o'clock, overdrive to 0, and tone to, let's say, 2 o'clock. Let's see how that sounds. I'm going to lower the gain because this is going to add some gain. Yeah, so for me, that's just too much, you know. I like it without the boost better. Has more thickness and has more of the character of the amp, you know what I mean? Okay, so that is the red channel. I'm going to try this channel later in the video as well with another guitar with active pickups. But let's explore the other two channels quick as well. The red is my favorite, but I don't want to linger too much on that. Let's go to the green channel, okay? That is a nice, chimey, bright, clean tone. Let me add some reverb up front with my Fractal VP4. It's nice and bright. Let me lower the highs a little bit to make it a little bit more warm. This guitar is on the brighter side, but I think it sounds good. The green channels, even though they are cool on these amps, they're not my favorite for clean tones. They're just a little bit pokey. I like channels or clean channels that are a little bit more compressed. But as you heard in the demo track, and right now, you can get some beautiful clean tones out of it. Now, the Ivory 100 watt can get you quite some gain on this channel as well. You can get some crunchy tones there. So let me turn off the reverb. Let's play with the gain control. Right now, the gain is set to 10 o'clock, 10:30. Let's raise the gain and let me lower the volume to compensate. Let's see what happens. This is with the gain maxed out completely on the green channel. So you can get a light crunch out of it as well. Not bad. Let's add the tube screamer. In this case, not doing a lot, tightening it up a little bit. Let's go back to a nice clean tone. Gain back to 1030. Let me mess with the EQ controls real quick. Treble. Nice musical and usable range there. Mids. Yeah, so the EQ sounds very musical. Lows. So the low control is quite powerful on this amplifier. Anyway, that's a nice clean channel, right? Now let's go to the blue channel, the channel that a lot of people love a lot, the crunchy channel, okay? Right now I have gain set to around 3 o'clock and volume quite low, obviously. Let's lower the gain a little bit. This is 12 o'clock. Nice British crunch, right? Let's lower it to 9 o'clock-ish. At this point, it becomes a little bit anemic. So let's go back to 3 o'clock. So the funny thing is, even though a lot of people say the Stealth has so much gain, even on the blue channel, etc., I don't think that that's the case at all. Right now, we're at 3 o'clock, and it still is a good crunch. It's not, you know, oversaturated, overcompressed, or there's not too much gain. So that's a good rock rhythm. Really nice. Let's crank the gain up all the way. That's not enough for a modern metal tone for me, so we can add a boost. Once again, the max on. That is nice. That is much more modern. Let's add a little bit more level to that. So I'm at level at 3 o'clock right now. That is one nice sounding tone. Boost off. Nice and thick. So yeah. The blue channel is just a wonderful rock channel. And I think the sweet spot for me is at around 3 o'clock. It just has a really nice sag to the tone. I don't know if it comes across on video, but it feels really nice to play through this channel. Cool. Let me switch guitars and we'll try the red channel once more. All right, this is my Schecter PT Black Ops. Tuned to drop C, so 1/2 step lower than the previous guitar. Fishman Fluence Modern, open core in the bridge. Right now, again, blue channel. I'm on the active voicing on this pickup. Let's go back to the red channel. So this amp is very sensitive to the kind of pickups that you're using in terms of the amount of gain, but also the tightness, which not every amplifier does. So that's very interesting. It's much more tight and defined with this guitar than the other guitar, maybe a little bit too much even. Yeah, it's fun though. It's very tight and aggressive. So if you want a really tight and aggressive modern tone with this amp, active pickups do work. Let's switch to the passive voicing. It's much more fat, right? Back to the active voicing. Let me tweak it a little bit so that it works well with this guitar. On the active voicing, a lot of bottom end is cut out, so let's lower the raise the lows, sorry, lower the mids a touch, lower the treble a touch. That's a really nice modern tone. So in terms of tweaking, a little goes a long way. So right now on the gain control, we're at around 1 o'clock, okay? So this amp isn't nearly as saturated, as compressed as some people say, which was very surprising to me. It's, you know, very usable in terms of the amount of gain. Also the blue channel. So I really like this amplifier. This video was not sponsored, by the way. I bought this amplifier myself and I have zero regrets because I'm having a lot of fun with this amplifier. It works so well with a wide variety of guitars and pickups. You can't go wrong with this thing, basically. It's awesome. And even at 50 watts, it will be super loud on stage. You've got the resonance control for dialing in the low-end thump. You don't really need 3 as the big boys have. But it's an excellent amp. It looks cool too in black. I do recommend it. If you're interested in one of these amplifiers, definitely check them out. Please use my affiliate links for Thomann or Sweetwater, as that helps out the channel. I'd really appreciate it. And stay tuned for more EVH content in the future, because I'm just having way too much fun with this amplifier that I want to try more. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, because I'd love to know. Also, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons, as that helps out the channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and if you want to support this channel directly, check out sonicdrivestudio.com for IR packs, capture packs, and all that good stuff. Thanks so much for watching, and hope to see you soon. Cheers.